me check the soundboard. But you already we live. We live, baby.
Yeah, I can undo it. I can do it.
No, you good. I mean, it's not worth undoing it. I just want to. Let me see something. Okay, let me check the soundboard real quick. Was that clear?
I didn't hear nothing.
God damn.
Alvin, are you more zoomed in than usual? You're also muted.
I don't know. Maybe I haven't touched anything.
Nothing's changed. Okay. If you are, can you zoom out more?
I mean, so on my end, I haven't changed any settings. I can look at OBS.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah. If there's something that you can do to zoom out further, regardless of the circumstances.
Yeah, I'm not. Given that I'm not sure what may or may not have happened, I'm not sure how to undo what may or may not have happened. So
fair enough. Yeah.
Yeah.
Said small, medium, large.
Yeah. Yeah, Josh, same thing for you. I want more space around you. So that's just a thing to fiddle around with in the future. That's either zooming out or camera placement or whatever.
This is kind of like how my shit always
I know
appears when it's in thirds.
Correct.
But the only way I could fix that is if I were to like step back. But even then, like it would be like that's just what thirds do.
Yep, that's what
like your camera placement is. I'm not able to set my camera further back.
Yeah,
I would have to like push my whole like table and shit, but like I got the chair like right behind me too. So
yeah, true. No stress. If there's something that you can do, cool. If not, not. Yeah, because with like a lens, you have more. So like just to explain camera shit, which I already know, but like there's a thing called like viewing angle. So a lens can change even if the distance of the camera doesn't change. Different lenses allow you to get more in the frame, regardless of distance change. Which means new camera means new angle of viewing. Not to mansplain.
Do I sound different to y'all?
I don't think so.
Singapore says I sound different.
Whisper into the mic. That doesn't sound like you're whispering into that mic. It sounds like you're whispering, but not into that mic. Try like doing like a. We're doing a little test, folks, before we get into chatting to y'all about the rolling back of voting rights and hantavirus. Man, have y'all had Terrain before?
Terrain?
I have not.
I got this rustic country style terrine, which is basically like blended up pig feet. I'm oversimplifying it, but that's basically what this. It's like a spread. It's like a charcuterie kind of a spread type of shit, kind of like pate. Not gonna lie, it's just pretty fucking good. But it looks like you're not supposed to eat it, but it looks pretty. But it's pretty fucking tasty. Oh, warm summer night. We see you discovering this nigga coming of age. just for context, I don't know if y'all know Warm Summer Night, but he's like a college student who's been like kind of writing in, getting different like put me on game, how to socialize, how to like find my passion in college kind of shit. So it's been interesting. He's like, bro, have you guys tried roti before? Love to see it.
Hey, shout out to you. Dallas curry and roti. I think I've had roti. Are you Jamaican?
No, he's in Atlanta.
Or some sort of. He's in Atlanta?
Yeah.
But I mean, you can be in Atlanta and still be Jamaican.
True, but I feel like it would come up early in conversation if you were. But fair point.
Okay. So you know this gentleman from college?
I don't know him at all.
Oh. Okay.
I mean,
like he was like, yo, this is my boy. I don't know if y'all know Warm Summer Night, but.
No, that's why I said the screen name. He's like a listener. I mean, he's a listener who has regularly come through on the lives and in Discord seeking advice on finding himself and socializing and dating as a young college person.
I thought he was giving you the game, like in college back in the day.
Oh, I see. Okay. Oh yeah, because you haven't been on the midweek live stream, so that's probably when he like asks for advice most frequently. But yo, shout out to you on summer night, because yeah,
big shout out, big shouts to my dog, big shouts to my dog. Yo, did y'all see the Michael movie?
I was too busy starring in it, so I didn't really get to sit down and see it. So
That's fair.
Yeah,
You did an amazing job performing. I meant to tell you.
Appreciate you. I appreciate
Like,
you, man. I had to. Yeah, had
you
to do
embodied MJ.
Born to do it.
Yo, I mean, literally,
they paid me overtime. And half of that movie, I didn't even know they were filming. They just recorded me just doing shit that I do, and then put it in the movie.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. No, especially like, you know, the home life, the stage life, the brothers, you know, all that, the animals.
Yeah, me and Joe. Oh gosh, that guy, very mean, very mean. He was not very nice.
Not a pleasant guy.
No, it's very rude.
Putting belt to ass at any moment.
Such a struggle. Yeah. So yeah. Look, honestly, I don't think I can go see it because I think I might cause a mob. I think it might not be safe if I were to go see that movie in a theater.
Maybe. I mean, but would that be a bad thing? You know? Well, when was the last time, like, you know, you seen somebody faint at the sight of another person?
That's a good point. Yeah. I don't know. It feels kind of dangerous. I don't know. Like, I don't know. Like, it's the feeling of like when somebody drunk is hitting on you. Like, it feels like a compliment, but it doesn't feel safe, if that makes sense.
I mean,
but I don't know what your experience of that is.
I mean, that goes back to the
how they can be
conversation
flirting
we
with
had.
you if they're.
I mean, but if they faint in front of you, like that sort of delirium, you know, what threat does an unconscious person pose to you?
The crowd turning around and be like, "He just knocked that lady out." They didn't fucking see. They didn't know. Everybody didn't see what happened. Like, yeah, the headline and the facts don't always line up. I don't know. Like, he just poisoned that crowd of people. I can see the headline now.
Look, it's only one person that had that effect.
And they
put his like non-gender bias. Yeah,
they put his ass in jail. Yeah, it was not safe. It was not safe. He was trying to buy NBC. You saw what happened.
Oh yeah, and don't have the record label, the record industry's publishing.
You know, it's crazy. I was listening to a few breakdowns, and they were like, because I probably will go see the movie, but they were talking about how this film is like the culmination of like a massive PR thing from the estate, like that they've been working on for like a decade, and that this is like been a huge success. Not to get conspiratorial, but they were just breaking down the steps and like the history of the making of this biopic. And it's very interesting. It's very interesting. So.
This particular one?
This particular one.
What was like the difference?
What between this and what?
Like you said, like they were laying out. Excuse me if I misunderstood, but you were saying like they were laying out the making of this biopic, and it was like very interesting. I was assuming it was compared to like something else that was done differently from like other biopics.
Okay, so yeah, this is like the biggest biopic that's ever, like, in terms of gross for the at the point that is. There's never been not Malcolm X, not Elvis Presley, not Selma. None of those. This is the biggest biopic release ever to exist. And yeah, I'm gonna tell y'all about the process. Because it was, man, those shoot days were difficult. Basically what they said was after the 1990 whatever allegations, and there was a period, which is why, for a long time I didn't like that comparison shit. Like, Mike was like the most famous pedophile on the planet. Like, that was just what his brand was. Shit got pulled from shelves. Like, even if I was talking to people in the UK, they don't fuck with Mike, or they didn't for a period, in the way that America does. You don't hear his music playing in stores, because it's like that's the R. Kelly Diddy of most places. And then then they did a tour film for the fuck, I forget what it was called, but it was called This Is It. Right? That one came out. I think you probably remember that one. And at that point, I think Mike died just before then or something like that.
Yeah, it
And
was
so,
like he died literally like right when that was supposed to come out, damn it. Like it might have been like during the thing almost.
and so they said that part of the journey of the estate to make Michael Jackson back into a profitable brand, a profitable set of assets and private property was the fact that he died, which meant that he was no longer available to be in conflict with the brand Mike, because the person Mike was dead. So he was no longer there to give interviews where he was talking about sleeping with children in the same bed. He was no longer there to hang his baby out over a thing or deny whether or not he did or didn't have plastic surgery. He was gone. So now it was just the brand. It was just the catalog. And so they dropped that like tour movie, and then they wrote a Broadway show, and the Broadway show does crazy numbers. And in it, what they did was they whitewashed the pedophile shit by saying, "Oh, Mike has a dark secret." That was like a subplot in this Broadway show, and then it gets revealed that the dark secret is that he's struggling with drug addiction. So it's like they kind of make it dark, and then think that they're going to set up there's something dark about him, but then they like switcheroo it. So it's like, oh no, we're still talking about the dark side of Mike. He had a problem with drugs, which is very
Pain meds specifically.
Yeah, pain medication, which is some very rock star like musician. It's like that's very safe, dangerous shit, if that makes sense. So then they kind of erased the pedophile shit from his, but then that new documentary, which was like Surviving Neverland or whatever, comes out after that. So now they had already were thinking about doing a biopic or documentary or something like that. But now that documentary comes out and they're like, oh, someone has destroyed the brand again. Like, how do we can't sell these records. We can't, put them in commercials. They lost a whole bunch of money. Every commercial use of Mike's music was like stripped after that. And then they were thinking about like, oh, maybe we'll do a reaction documentary, like do what Diddy was trying to do against the 51 before his footage got subpoenaed and used in the takedown thing. But then they were like, let's just do the biopic. They got Anthony Fuqua, like they got all these people. So now it's this movie. And originally they were going to shoot it with the pedophile shit in it, but but like in on Mike's defense, like making the parents seem like extortionists and all that kind of stuff.
Because I think I haven't heard that take. There were like some other layers that I have heard about it through the media, people like analyzing it, and they were basically saying that, for one, the movie ended like in '88, before that whole like pedophile assumptions and accusations even began. However, they were, because they're already like, I think the fucking like Mike, like the second part of the biopic is damn near already in. Like, it's already in, like, but the state kind of fucked up because they had the stuff in there, but there's certain things that you can't show. They basically, the state didn't do their due diligence in terms of what you can portray on screen and what you can't. So that was another reason for reshoots. And then of course, going back to the first movie, there was a lot of course, like, there was a lot of people who like didn't want to be a part of it, i.e. like Janet Jackson, Diana Ross, some other folks, some other key figures that was like, in his life growing up too. So
like they didn't want to be portrayed in it, you're saying?
Oh yeah, no, like that's why Janet Jackson is not in that movie, Diana Ross is not in that movie. They didn't want anything to do with it. Like,
I'm surprised they're even allowed to, because they can just make a movie about your life, but they don't need your permission, But maybe they wanted their blessing.
Yes, but I'm pretty sure they could have got sued.
Maybe because they did Mark Zuckerberg, and I
don't know, bro. I don't know, but apparently they didn't. So, and that was because they did not want to be, in it whatsoever. But the allegations like that is something that they were talking about addressing in the second movie. But again, it already caused like fuck ups with production, planning, because the estate was like they basically had the estate thought they had everything good to go on their end, but then they found out, oh shit, no, it's our bad. We actually can't do da 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 da. And that's a lot of da 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 da's that we can't necessarily portray. Like for instance, like a grown man sleeping in bed with a kid.
We can't show that.
Yeah, it's like you can't like show that. But I will say, I was definitely look. Okay, for one, when I was little, Michael Jackson, just like many other people, motherfucker was my hero. I thought that nigga actually had magical powers.
Yeah, everybody did.
I thought like legit had. I thought that nigga was magic. Yes,
physics didn't apply to him.
Yeah, that movie Moonwalker, motherfucker transformed into a vehicle. Nigga transformed into a DeLorean.
I can't do that.
Neither can I.
Well,
who else doing that?
Nobody.
I mean,
and so part of what they were saying is like this, like, and also for a little bit of context, just to add to what you were just saying, they actually shot all of the like post 99 stuff, and then as you said, the estate looked back through the law and realized that the initial 1990s settlement with the kid who had accused him of sexual abuse was that nobody can make a movie discussing or portraying this stuff. And the reason that they said that was because they didn't want the family to make a movie or make a book or make anything, but the clause applied to them as well. So they can't make a movie about it, but they had already shot the shit. So somewhere on some hard drives is a version of this movie with that whole shit. But I think they also realized that might not have gone well, and that audiences are like, they don't want to think about that stuff. They just want to go tell us the music and kind of like sweep it under the rug. Maybe
it's a lot of people that do want to. It's a lot of people that do want that story, or at least like some aspect of that story. Because I ain't gonna hold you, like in the Michael movie, there was a lot of shit that got glossed over. Even though I will say, like it actually is like a good movie. Like it's 2 hours and 7 minutes. It didn't feel like 2 hours and 7 minutes, but if you're a Michael Jackson fan, like if you love the music, like that motherfucker Jafar Jackson, everyone's saying it, but I'll say it again, like he embodied Michael Jackson. Like it's almost scary at times. But as far as the the pedophilia stuff, like I genuinely do believe, like especially like in big 2026, that motherfucker got lined up. He was definitely weird because he himself said that he would have children, sleeping in his bed. Like they would go to sleep together, have sleepovers. He said that, which is not some shit that any normal grown man would do. But in Michael's case,
let alone say
how he grew up, which has always been well documented, he was always pro kids. But in this movie, they definitely made sure to stress how much he cared for children, and like he would go to visit terminally ill kids all the time in hospitals, like spend time with them. Like I don't believe like he was actually a PDF file. I think he really got lined up by the industry because he was because like that motherfucker was a great businessman. Honestly,
yeah, I don't know. I think I've reversed over time to be like, but it's because it's how many total accusations is it? I think Cat Williams like point on if you get multiple, then I'm going like one, okay, maybe, but it's at least 3, right? Maybe 4.
Yeah, but even with those accusations, like he was never found guilty.
Mind you,
those are the hardest ones. I get that. I know that was a very salacious thing to say amongst this crowd for sure. I know that was very salacious, but I mean, hey, but also if he did do it, then oh my God, shame on you, sir. Right in hell. I don't believe he actually did it. And that's just my personal opinion. So,
yeah, I mean, but we just because we switched from like, okay, we don't have to do that part, but like I think what's maybe most fascinating to me is just how effective this thing has been from a branding perspective, because they were like, there's like chatter of criticism. Why isn't this covered? Why isn't this covered? Kind of a thing. But it's like, it's a whisper against like an avalanche of support, Gen Z, millennials, X showing up, dressed like Mike at the thing, like his record sales going back up. And it's like, oh, they've managed to take an unsellable product. Like if you were to go to like 2005 and you were trying to use Mike in the same way, you would struggle. Mike was where Diddy is right now, and they've brought it back to like, holy shit, this catalog is now worth, hundreds of millions in a way that it wasn't before. That is maybe scary, but also just fascinating to me that they successfully did it, even when some people who are critical of it can see what they're doing. There was a critic who was like, I came in knowing that this was purely a branding project by the estate of Michael Jackson to create a movie whose real purpose, besides just being a movie, was to make his products profitable again, to make this body of private property, this portfolio make money again. I went in knowing that, and I still walked out like, damn, that shit was good. I still walked out moonwalking. I was like, fuck.
It's fucked up because like that was the reason why like this goddamn second movie got greenlit so damn fast.
Yeah,
because of the success of it. Like they don't care about like the actual individual. Even
no, he's a zombie. Essentially, it's the estate is unfreezing a dead man to make fucking money, and they're going to.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, that's what it's about. And then I mean, like I agree with you on that. Like it definitely is a branding thing to make the brand more sellable, more relatable, break down like those past barriers to clear up or try to be like, no, Michael will never do that. He never did.
Oh,
that.
It wasn't. Yeah, no,
Beyond
don't worry about that. But
we're
Thriller,
like
come
story.
on, like yeah.
I will say just with everything in totality, even before this movie came out, like just kind of like looking back at everything and the stuff that he was doing, and even like in the 80s when pre-Thriller, when the album Thriller dropped, like when Billie Jean dropped on MTV, they still weren't playing like black artists on MTV. So it's just things like that, like that reminds you of just like, okay, well, let's think about this also.
Oh, he was
one of one. And just to say that, you got to knock down a barrier of like a fucking phenomenon. But just because you're black, like MTV wouldn't play your fucking videos. If I'm not mistaken, Thriller might have premiered on MTV. That shit was huge. I could be wrong on that, but I want to say I think it did premiere on MTV.
I think that's close to the truth, yeah.
And just think, like, just because he was black, like those sorts of barriers, like just holding us back, just like they do with every other fucking thing. But then when you become so rich and then so powerful, because like even though Mike was like, bashful, like he had this very timid side to him. When it came down to certain like business things, like he was actually kind of like pretty stern and like knew where he wanted things to go.
Aggressive, yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, hell, like capitalist, whatever, you know what I'm saying? So you can say that about him for sure. Definitely a capitalist. But if a black man owns, and if a black man owns half of the music industry, I got to imagine that's a problem. If the initial, like, and just doing a little comparison, like, if the initial problem was like, Nick, we're not playing this nigga's music videos on MTV, fucking MTV, this nigga.
But at that time, was Mike that at that time? Was he wasn't, he was like, I don't know. I'm making up.
He had the highest selling album of all time.
But was he a worker or an owner at that point? What, like, I'm just trying to line up because there's Mike, the incredible artist who works and sells records and da-da-da, and there's Mike, the catalog owner who makes money because he owns the Beatles. And those are two different points in history a little.
If we're talking about like the MTV thing, those are two different things because
okay. That's
the time, those are two different things that shouldn't be compared. Like at the time, as an artist, if I'm fighting to be played on a station and I have the highest selling album of all time, and y'all won't play my video,
right? Like y'all are losing out. Like, what do you do? Like the racism has to be at an insane level for y'all to miss out on a buck just because, I'm a black artist. Like, which is,
insane. So, but then just kind of like, taking that stance of course, racism, prejudice, and then the powers that be, which we all know, like we're no strangers to. And then admittedly, of course, like he's a strange motherfucker. He's weird, we're kind of weird individual. Because none of the three of us is having sleepovers with random children. We're not doing it.
No.
For obvious reasons. But Michael did.
For obvious reasons, that's different. But that's which makes me think like, all right, I mean, if we bringing it back to that, which makes me go like, I do think that a person could be so weird that they do shit that everybody else would avoid because they know how it looks, but they don't understand how it looks. But they're not necessarily doing the fucked up thing. But I do think that we got to be like, oh, but it could just be that they're doing the fucked up thing. You know what I'm saying? Like it's. I get the argument of he was just so weird that he didn't realize how strange it was, so he was willing to do shit that another grown man wouldn't do. Even if he okay, so how do I put it? Men don't apply to be preschool teachers. That like over time, that's like shrunk tremendously. And part of it is there's this sense that like as a man, it's just it's putting out the wrong energy to be too interested in children. And so I think that you're muted.
I'm sorry, I didn't think I was. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
I don't think that's why. I think it's because preschool teachers make the least amount of money. I think that's why it's gendered.
I think both are probably true.
I think it's a negative feedback loop. In regards to pay. So it's like once something becomes gendered.
Oh, we talked about because now it's women, so then the pay gets even more suppressed. Yeah, all right. So fair enough. I think that is definitely a factor. But the idea that I think men generally don't do shit that even could possibly be construed as being too interested in kids, more so than women, is a phenomenon. Whereas which was my point. And Mike being like, oh yeah, I have a fucking Neverland ranch is just some shit that a motherfucker who's just not thinking about the fact that everybody else is like, maybe that's not the image you want to put out is a fair argument. But I just still think it's possible that maybe he was weird, didn't know it was weird, and maybe was sexually abusing children.
Yeah.
But I understand the argument.
I mean, due to my own personal bias, I genuinely don't believe he was doing that. Although I'm with you on,
I'm open to that.
That's weird, you know. But because even like before the movie, because they made again, like they from your perspective of Eddie, what you were saying, from a branding perspective of Michael Jackson, like the entity, the estate, the money making machine, the movie definitely did, a lot of things to
they've succeeded.
Hey, this is actually the truth. Well, this is like, how he was raised, that could give a lot of plausible deniability. But I'm speaking from a point of prior to knowing some stuff about Michael Jackson, because like he really was super into Peter Pan. Super into Peter Pan. Like when he was like, it never left from a child.
Okay.
It never left him.
It imprinted on him. And he was like, oh yeah.
Yeah, but that was always the thing with him though. Like but again, like when the allegations first came out, like so severe, it's like you gotta like, hey, whoa, did he do it? Because this is some weird shit. Most of us wouldn't do this, but I hope he didn't, and I don't believe he did. Wow.
Have you seen the doc? Because that was another thing I was going to say from a branding perspective is that the estate got the documentary taken down from HBO. You cannot it's literally been censored. You cannot legally anywhere in America legally watch the documentary from his alleged victims in the United States. You got to pirate it or whatever, which I thought that's some interesting, powerful shit.
Yeah. Can I ask a question just about understanding like the general premise? Because I get the sense that you brought that up because that was like that was a particular interesting thing to you. And like, is it interesting to you, assuming that's why you brought it up, and feel free to tell me if that's a faulty premise, in regards to the industry aspect of this, but is it interesting to you because you think that Mike was in some sort of very specific circumstance that made him like persona non grata in the industry? Because I'm thinking about other people who are, it's very difficult to compare people to Mike, but Elvis is probably like as close of a parallel as you can get. And the motherfucker was openly with the child. And everybody knew that. Like Priscilla was 14 when they started.
Motherfucker dating. Was married. He was lead. Like it was legislatively. There's a record.
Yeah.
There's no alleged to it.
Mike came out of the Motown tradition. Most of the Motown niggas were horrible people. Like Marvin Gaye is a monster, you know, like, and nobody gave a shit. People look past Elvis's stuff, like historically, at every given step of that situation. It took a very long time for public opinion to turn on R. Kelly. I still see Diddy supporters saying that, like, well, Cassie like had it coming and she was complicit in all this kind of stuff. So like, are we saying that Mike was just some sort of special level of like persona non grata, that this makes this more interesting, that his comeback story was,
okay, now I understand your question. Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. Yeah, but
why is it because it was children?
Are you asking for the trying to make sure I get the question right in my head? Are you agreeing that is the case and asking my theory on why it was the case, or you're also questioning whether or not that was the case?
I'm asking if that's why you thought it was interesting to begin with, and then I'm asking why you think that is the case. Because from my perspective, it's just like
everybody else.
It's just rich famous people like get turns. They get chances. People look the other way on shit. Like, that happens. It's probably more of a thing when you're as famous can be, like when famous kind of defines who you are.
And I think that's core to my second answer. So one, yes, that's bang on what I was getting at. And two, and I maybe have a slight bias because, like, I look like Mike. So like that, the comparisons to that made me have like a very close connection to how he was viewed in the culture throughout time. I've had a very close connection to that. Like, comments mean a totally different thing based on what his brand is at any given point throughout my life. So I feel like I've got a pretty good, like, sort of finger on the pulse of what people think of the guy. So yes, that's what I was saying. And I think that that's been my life for a long time,
bro. Like, I'll never forget, because I think I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I just got to say this real quick. When I first met you, like, it was a couple, probably like weeks into, like, knowing you or whatever, get to know you.
Oh, early.
Yeah, early on, and because you had like those long Florida locks.
Oh, the Florida dreads, yeah,
the Florida dread. And I was like, man, that motherfucker looked like somebody. Man, one day it hit me. I was like, oh my God, this nigga looked exactly like if Maxwell and Michael Jackson had a baby.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, yes, absolutely, yeah.
It's only recently. It's a couple of times. I saw. I think it's Is it Off the Wall? I saw the record, the album cover for that, and I was like, I think this was maybe like 2 or 3 years ago. I was like, finally, okay, I kind of see it. Because before that, you know your own face so well that when people say you look like XYZ person, it's almost impossible for you to see it, because it's like, no, I look like Eddie, so I can't even. People would say it, but I'm like, every single person for forever says that, so I'm like, it's probably true. But I think one time I saw that record cover and I was like, nah, I see it. Bruno, I don't see. With the fro, I see, like the silhouette maybe, but I think people are stretching with Bruno. I think I just have a skin tone and some ambiguous features, so they just go, that's a whole category of niggas, so you look like that category of people.
They definitely throw the hair into that.
Yeah, so I'm like, all right. But all that is to say, I think that when you combine Mike's fame with which magnified the accusations to a level of public being part of the zeitgeist, those two things together made it to where there was a period where Mike was so known for the accusations, everybody knew them. For a lot of the Diddy shit or Marvin or Elvis, people know the music more than the allegations, or the relationship between those is a little bit different, where you can say to somebody, oh, I didn't even know about that. Nobody doesn't know about the Mike allegations. Maybe that's not true now. There might be people who are younger or weren't tapped in, who have just seen the movie and don't know about it. Maybe 2007, nobody didn't know about the allegations. South Park did a whole thing about it. That was his number. I would argue that Mike is the most famous pedophile of all time, regardless of whether or not he did it or didn't do it. I think if you were to make a list of people who, as individuals, are associated with pedophilia, he's at the very top of that list. I don't think there's no popes, no priests, nobody that's higher on that list. Is what I would.
You have to say alleged.
Alleged. Yeah, allegedly associated with it. Yeah, he's the most famous person associated with being a pedophile.
Yeah, I mean, Michael Jackson is literally one of the most famous people that has ever existed.
That's it. So
Next to
my
Musa.
yes. So my point is, and Jesus, I guess.
Yes. Fair.
But all of my point is,
Magandhi.
Good point.
Magandhi.
But I think, good old Mohandas Gandhi. So yes, I think that his situation, being able to repair that brand is unique because he was so famous and because his allegations as a result were so famous. You're repairing a brand where sweeping it under the rug isn't available to you in the same way it is for other shit.
Mm-hmm.
Indubitably.
Yes. Indeed. It's a tough one. But I mean, I don't know. Maybe Michael was go down that road.
Are you sure you want to say it?
No.
Okay.
No.
Now that should
this is not the audience to this. No.
To get into that. Yeah. Look, to be fair, he is dead. He is dead. So that, I think that changes a lot of conversations because it's like he'll never be held truly to justice. I think that you can have more justice for victims.
He did.
Yes, sorry, assuming he did. Yes, assuming he. Oh, shit, you're right. I'm my fault. Yeah, you're right. Assuming he did it. Oh, sorry. All of that was meant to say because he's dead. I feel like there's more freedom to talk about it because it's like there's no one way or the other. You know what I'm saying? If he did or didn't do it, that doesn't impact him. You know what I'm saying?
It's not about Michael. It's not about Michael. I'm talking about what I was about to say. I didn't want to say because of the audience.
No, I knew why.
Yeah,
I know. Yeah. No, I understood that. I that was more like me arguing against the audience that like, hey, chill out, he's dead. It kind of doesn't matter for him, the person.
I don't think
the
that
alleged
think
victims
that
it does, but
honestly, but
yeah. I guess I just don't give that much of a fuck personally, but I know that's more of a sticking point for yourself, which is very, very understandable. How are y'all on time? Because I felt like I would love to hit the voting rights and hantavirus thing, but we definitely need to hit Akash and Keegan, which we can do on the other side of a live, but we could do another half hour in this live and then go to Keegan and Akash behind the edit. How are y'all feeling?
I kind of need to be up by like 11.
What time is it right now?
It's 9:34.
9:34. Okay. Yeah, I think that's doable. Yeah. 30 minutes on that. Hour on those. Yeah. So, do you want to tell us about hantavirus, Alvin? Because I don't know anything about it other than that there's been some cases in Asia.
If it's gonna be just like me data dumping kind of thing,
I have questions.
We can just skip it because I'm not that interested in it. I just know that it was in the zeitgeist, and I am actually more confident in science than anything else. But we can skip it.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about it because you're passionate and not just passionate, but you have an area of expertise. So I thought you might be able to bring and here's maybe why we should give a fuck about this thing. Because I had heard about it and I didn't know much about it. So it's more like if you've got something interesting that I hadn't thought of, then I definitely will have things to say. It's not just like, hey, Alvin, take the stage type shit.
Let me lead you into this, baby. All right, Alvin, I got you. You just gave you a cold start. You got a brother up by it. So hantavirus. Some niggas. Somebody went to Argentina, allegedly, fucking around with some rats, contracted some shit, took his sick ass on a cruise ship, got everybody fucked up. This nigga dead. We got 3 confirmed dead people, about 11 infected people on the Honduras cruise or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So, now the world's governments are monitoring these people, have them quarantined by themselves for a minute. Some social media videos popped up. We're not just a story. We're actual human beings. I'm sorry, my brother. I am so sorry for you and to those people that are there with you. Best of luck, but keep that shit over there. We have not recovered from the first panic. All right. You trying to make us go through another one? And damn well you should have kept your sick ass off that fucking cruise. Man, you went to Argentina fucking around with them rats. And God only knows what he was doing with them rats, allegedly. But that's
been doing anything, people allegedly.
Exactly.
Man, honestly, I feel like sorry.
No, go ahead, nigga.
I was just gonna say, I feel like people's like etiquette around being sick and being around other people is crazy. Like sometimes I'm like, you're on the train and it's like, motherfucker, I can see that your eyes are red. I can see you fucking sniffling. Like your week is ruined, and now you want to ruin my week too by coming out in the fucking like it's like I say this unironically. I feel like I should be able to slap you in the face if you're sick in front of me knowingly. If you don't know, cool, but knowingly is crazy.
I mean, if you slap him, then you automatically just fucked.
Now I'm
Like,
sick because I just popped the balloon in front of my own face. You're right.
Yeah,
True.
Hand-to-hand contact, and then like
Okay, I feel like I should be able to throw like a baseball at you from the other side of the carriage. That's maybe I'll make that adjustment.
Yeah. I mean, because like if you look like
it's assault.
A nigga that's about to die from a zombie bite before he turns into a zombie, you go on a cruise, it's like, bro, come on, like
this is assault. Like come on, you're giving me because if I took like a drop of some disease, put it in a syringe, and then came up to you and was like, right, you go to jail for that. But you're actively shedding virus in public knowingly, you should go to jail. Like maybe not, you know what I'm saying? Because it's like a flu will give you 2 weeks. So I'm not saying you should go to jail a lot, but it should be a fine. It should be a fine. Yeah. But I understand people got to work. So there's economic pressures as well. But a cruise, that's voluntary. Come on. Yeah. Go to jail. Go to jail. You went on a cruise with hantavirus. Go to jail.
I mean, he didn't know he had hantavirus, but still.
He knew he was fucking rats, allegedly.
Wow. In very close proximity with rats. What he was doing with them, who knows?
We don't know. We can't speak to that.
It was like a deer rat. Deer rats. That was like a specific breed. I have no idea.
Deer rats. Okay, let's see.
I have no idea how big a deer rat is. That's just what I read.
Oh,
in terms of the possible.
They're so cute.
Possible location of it.
Look at these guys. Oh shit. Hold on, let me bring up a picture. These shits are adorable.
Wow.
Look, I get it. Come on, I get it.
Okay.
I understand.
All right.
Look at this guy.
You know, hey, that's a tough one, you know. I mean, come on. That looks like a gerbil.
Bro, look at that. Look at that.
Can you make it bigger? Pause.
Let me see.
See what the long legs. Okay, I have seen this critter before.
Come on.
That's Bambi.
That's adorable. And that's a leaf. Look how big it is relative to a leaf. Oh. Look at him. They're cuddling on top of the other one. I understand how he got the hantavirus. If it was from these guys, I understand.
He was probably treating them deer rats like it was a flock of puppies. Just they're all crawled on me. They're looking at me. You know, you thought it was sweet. No.
Oh my God, little deer kisses. Just hantavirus straight in his face. Probably that makes a lot of sense. Oh my God. Yeah, look, I get it. So how dangerous is hantavirus?
Very.
In terms of what?
Does it kill you? How virulent is it? Like, do I need to be worried? Like,
so most of the studies done on it show, because what you'll hear is top line stuff that is based on fairly scant research, basically all around, right? Oh. So you'll hear like a pretty high mortality rate, but it's also because like they don't have a huge number of cases. It's under coverage bias. In terms of virulence, and virulence patterns, just to give you a range of like virulence patterns, like it depends on how the virus has been adapted quasi-evolutionarily in order to spread itself. So you have some that are super virulent and they burn out really quickly. That's like Ebola, right? So like that's why Ebola will never be a problem in the developed world, because you get Ebola in a city, like you get a lot of people that get real sick. Like it's a flash, like we can see it, it's visible. You know, people get supportive therapy. With supportive therapy, they survive. It just doesn't keep going. Now, when you get something like COVID on the other end of that spectrum, where you have fairly long incubation period, you have a lot of asymptomatic carriers, and you have people that can shed when they're asymptomatic. That's kind of like the perfect scenario for spread.
Can you explain shedding for people?
That plus, so it's pieces of virus break off and they infect other people. It's shedding in like the, you know, the very rudimentary like definition of what shedding, you know, would evoke.
You're like spewing out infectious agent.
So you get something that you have asymptomatic spread, you have shedding when you're asymptomatic early in the incubation period, and you have it being aerosolized. You have, you know, almost none of that we can tell with hantavirus, for example, right? So as best we know, again, with a lot of stuff being inconclusive, you don't have asymptomatic transfer at all in any case. You don't have asymptomatic shedding at all from that perspective. What you see on the news is people playing like a game with public health communication, but there have only been a handful of studies that showcased any level of human to human transmissibility, and most of those had a lot of problems. So I saw a couple of them that big bold headline: hantavirus can be spread human to human transmission, and they
that's what I heard.
Yeah. So even in the worst case scenario, it's rare, right? It's rare. So even those studies said like we had a whole bunch of people exposed. We got 3 people that maybe like passed it to each other. So if it happens, it's likely rare. There's a lot of reason to doubt that it happens at all, because in those studies that actually showcase it, they did gene sequencing studies to try to say like, okay, well, the gene sequences in this virus match this virus in this other person, so therefore it must have been transmitted between these 2 people, which is a fallacy because they could have just picked it up from the same rodent source.
Yeah, true. And I mean, look, honestly, if I saw one of those little deers, I'd come over to the petting zoo as well. So
yeah, so there's a meta-analysis that came out around 2022 that looked at all of the available research, and basically it says this is either extremely rare human to human transmission, or it just doesn't happen. So basically they're saying that it's inconclusive. And the reason why the World, you know, Health Organization won't say this, or the CDC or whatever, is because they're gun shy about making definitive statements after COVID,
because it might get found untrue later on or something like that.
Yes. And they realize that they can't talk through the nuance of those situations from a soundbite perspective. So all that kind of being said,
is it better to lean in the direction of this thing is more like, because I feel like you're making the same choice either way.
Actually, yes, I would say so, because it's similar to what doctors do, right? So it's the old case where somebody's like, well, the doctor said I only had a 20% chance to live and I pulled it through. Fuck you, doctors. Doctors always give you the low end of the range, right?
Well, they don't want to say 50-50 and you die, and it's like, but you said it was a coin toss. Like
exactly. So they always give you the low range. So that's what I'm pretty sure they're doing with this, because none of the studies support this. The meta-analysis just doesn't support it. All that being said, I think that everybody should be worried about emerging disease, because let's say this hantavirus isn't human to human transmissible, and and none of the hantaviruses that we know of right now are easily aerosolized. It's usually you have to touch it on the surface.
You have to let a little deer mice kiss you.
Yeah, it's you have to be in contact with the excrement from a carrier. It's not aerosolized. It's not COVID. It's not influenza.
Oh, okay.
But there's nothing to say that another version of hantavirus won't be, right? So I do think that we all should pay very close attention when these things like pop up, because emerging virus is a thing. And I remember when everybody thought infectious disease like wasn't going to be a thing anymore. Like that was like something that had burned out that we could effectively control that. And then you started getting novel infectious disease that we weren't particularly prepared for. So I think we should stay ready, because if we stay ready, we don't have to get ready. But hantavirus is not COVID. It's just not
as yet non-issue.
This current Andes strain of hantavirus, which is the one that they're talking about in the news right now, is not COVID. Like we're not going to be, in this huge lockdown situation just on the strength of what we know about it. There's still a lot of unknown that is inconclusive, but what we know about it, meaning it's not aerosolized easily. It is not asymptomatic spread. It's not asymptomatic shedding. That alone makes this in a whole different league from something like COVID, which was a perfect storm of spread.
And most infection is purely direct contact. It's not like one little deer mice is getting a bunch of people sick. It's like you have to have directly been in contact with fluids from an infected organism.
So yes, but that I mean,
As we know.
yeah, yes, but I do want to just give the clarification based on how you laid that out. That yes, that does still mean that one deer mouse can infect a lot of people, because one deer mouse can, you know,
be in contact with lots of
create contact with a lot of different points. But other than that small caveat, yes.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. All right. Well, look, we'll keep y'all posted. We'll keep y'all posted. Number one epidemiology podcast in the universe.
Big facts.
I did want to touch on the voting rights thing because it's probably not a video segment, but it does feel yeah, I don't know. It does feel like some scary shit to me. Like it feels like the kind of fear-mongery stuff that I tend to respond to. And it feels like it's gonna have some major damning impact on the midterms and the avalanche of policy changes that the Trump regime can get across the line that wouldn't have been possible otherwise. Like that's what it feels like. This is the removal of a barrier that to the most dangerous set of things that people have accused the Trump administration of looking to do. This seems like, okay, cool. All the shit that we were afraid of with the Project 2025, a lot of the thing was like, oh no, but we're going to have midterms. There's no way Trump's going to stay in office. He's not going to do some illegal government takeover shit. This feels like a step in the wrong direction on that of Black voters being disempowered in a way that makes it easier for Republicans relative to Democrats to win elections less democratically. Yes. And yeah, I'm curious of your thoughts, but if anybody wants to just do a breakdown better than I can of what exactly has happened before we get into the impact of it. I feel like Alvin you might be in a position to go, here's what this is.
Yeah, it's fairly simple. There's a Voting Rights Act, which still exists, and was codified. Like this is a law on the books. This isn't a Roe v. Wade or anything kind of situation where like the courts made a decision and that just became like law of the land. This is 100% a law on the books. Basically, a core tenet of it based on a case that got pushed, I want to say out of Louisiana, to the Supreme Court, that basically outlawed drawing congressional maps per their interpretation with race as a factor of how you do that. So it doesn't say that you can't draw new maps. It doesn't say that you can't do that, because I do want to be clear that everybody draws favorable maps when they're in power. It just said that you can't take race into consideration when you do that. So when you can't take race into consideration when you do that, then obviously the majority white Republican held states are going to say, well, fuck, you're saying that I can just like delete all these black districts across, basically every former Confederate state at this point is moving to do this. And Georgia has said they won't pre-midterm, but I'm positive that Georgia will after midterms at minimum. I think we're the last holdout. It's us in North Carolina, I want to say.
So but for context, just to clarify, previously the Voting Rights Act is it the case that it allowed districts to be drawn with protection of voting blocks based on race to be allowed, and that this is rolling back saying, no, you can't do that? Is that the direction that things moved?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Cool.
And that's fairly simple. There are also other things that came out as a result of this case. So there's also technically a law on the books that says, I mean, to count to this, Georgia is also purple. Georgia is historically purple. A lot of people don't know that, but it's still a Republican held state legislature. So we'll see. We'll see what that looks like at the state level. State elections matter. But what also came out of this is you typically don't see states redrawing their maps interstitially between censuses, right? So typically states redraw their map every census, right? Like redrawing maps and gerrymanders are the American way for our international audience, right? Like that shit happens. What you saw now is a wave of people doing that pre-census specifically to try to, you know, circumvent what everybody assumed was going to be a extremely tough midterm for the Republicans. And there was a petition to basically utilize the same law, the Voter's Right Act, to stop those election changes that are happening in Louisiana was the test case, for example. So close to actual elections starting, right? Because they paused primary elections, right? Early voting in primary elections for their November midterms had already started, and they said we're going to stop that. There's actually a law that says that you can't do that shit when it's already started. You have to, it has to be 30 days before, I want to say, is the rule. There was a petition of the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court said, nah, fuck that shit too. So, and then
it's fine to stop it, they said?
Yeah, the Supreme Court, in their unwillingness to stay that particular like pause of a primary election, has basically said that no, they can do whatever they want. So Louisiana has paused, their primary elections so that they can redraw maps
before allowing the further votes to. Yeah, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
And the plot gets a little bit deeper, and I think this is where it gets actually particularly interesting, is that all of the Republican states that are redrawing these maps have not done this based on a vote. They just did it. They did it actually when most of their citizenry have said that we don't even want this. Like, we think this is bullshit. The state of Virginia, which is a slight, Democratic like hell state right now, Democratic governor, slight Democratic legislature at the state level, put it to a vote. They asked their citizens, like, do you want us to redraw these maps, right? Like, in favor of XYZ. Basically, they put it on the ballot. It won on the ballot. Their state Supreme Court turned it down. They said, like, nah, you can't do this because it breaks this core tenet of the Voters' Right Act. You can't change this shit. So close, right? So I'm actually this is ancillary. I'm actually very curious to see how the Supreme Court, because this has already been petitioned to the Supreme Court from the Virginia case, how they want to handle this, because they can either let Virginia do a Democratic gerrymander, or they can say, nah, you can't do that, and stop Louisiana. So they're going to have to figure out exactly how political they want to get. So that's going to be actually particularly difficult to parse out for the Supreme Court, and it could actually work out very much in everybody's favor. But we'll see.
That it allows Democrats to do the same thing, so it kind of comes out in the wash, you're saying?
So I do want to say that, like, when people are raising alarms on this one, this is not fear mongering. Like, people should be worried about this. This is extremely bad. For a lot of reasons. I will also say that even despite these state gerrymanders, they're not gaining a bunch of seats out of this, right? So, for example, the gerrymander of Tennessee gained them 1 seat. Like across all of the states, because these are typically small states with small districts, like with small like representative counts. Like, these are not our most popular states. They're gaining like a handful of seats, right? And they're gaining handfuls of seats, presumably in states where they're still going to have to be extremely competitive based on how they've screwed up the Hispanic Latino vote. So a lot of maps are actually predicting that even if this goes exactly how the Republicans are playing it out, that they still lose by like 20 seats. Because so one, you have to think about the fact that, and I brought this point up to somebody, you know how difficult it is to gerrymander Florida with the hole that they've dug with Hispanic Latino voters. The Black and Hispanic vote in Florida is about 50% of the state. You can't gerrymander around half of your population, right?
It's a very mixed fucking, like, people don't even live in proper clean pockets as well.
Same thing in Texas, right? So where they fucked up was all the shit that Trump and company has done is going to erase all of the gains that the Republican Party made with Hispanic Latino voters. Now they realize that they're not white people in the eyes of this government. So these are going to be very competitive races. So that's part one. Part two is the fact that, and we got to see exactly how Virginia plays out, but you have California that's going to that's going to gerrymander. And California is, again, for our international audience, the big enchilada. California basically runs the United States. The United States is run by 4 states, just so people know, right? Literally, businesses will base their entire business strategy around 4 states in the United States: California, New York, Texas, Florida. They're the most populous states. They're the most economically like prosperous states, you know, in terms of GDP, at least, not in terms of, you know, people, like, and what they have and what they spend. But people will base their entire business strategies around what those 4 states do, right? California has more GDP than most countries. And it's also extremely populous. It's the most populous state by far. So they're going to carve that shit up. That's already been legislated. That's going to happen. We're going to get, you know, and I say we because I am a Democratic voter from that perspective. California is going to gerrymander in favor of the Republicans and probably gain like 15 seats. Colorado is going to gerrymander. Illinois is going to gerrymander. Maryland turned theirs down, but I still think there's some room now that this has happened to revisit that without a vote. Virginia is likely going to gerrymander because the Supreme Court has to allow their petition to work, because if they don't, then they threaten the gerrymanders that have already happened. There's what's the other state? Did I already say Colorado? Yeah. But anyway, New York is going to gerrymander. The governor already said that they're going to match gerrymander for gerrymander. So this basically just became an arms race, and it's actually looking like the Democrats are actually still in a fairly decent spot with this. But the issue that happens when so the reason why I think this isn't fear-mongering, even though I think that the maps that I've seen, and I've seen several different models at this point, still are looking very winnable for the Dems. It's not about this midterm. It's about elections past this, right? Like where like you have people in huge swaths of the country, Black people, that like no longer have representation because of the way this is played out. So what I think needs to happen is I think the midterms will play out okay for the Dems.
Okay, for Democrats, yeah.
I think if the Dems can manage to hang on to some of their tightly contested Senate seats, I'm looking particularly in Georgia, also that's the most hotly contested seat in the Senate race this year. And then there are also some ones that are kind of like already Republican held, but I think the Dems can steal. So I'm thinking Sherrod Brown can potentially win Ohio. I'm thinking Graham Plattner can potentially win in Maine. So like there are a few things out there that I think could potentially sway this, where like the Dems probably can like edge out a slight majority in the Senate. What the Dems need to do is not play the games they played with Roe v. Wade and use this as a carrot where they think they can dangle it for people to get extended like voting presence. And they need to reinstate the pre-clearance requirement for the Voters' Right Act. That will save this for generations. So basically, there was a clause in the original Voters' Rights Act that was not ratified that required that any changes in election procedure at the state level had to be approved by the federal government.
Okay.
There are already senators that are pushing for this. The Georgia State Senator Raphael Warnock has already said that that's going to be a key facet of his post-midterm campaign. And if we get the seats, it needs to happen. Like if that doesn't happen, then this midterm is a moot point based in the whole landscape of what voting looks like for Black people in the country. And that's not hyperbolic. That's a fact. We have a very small window. Like the window to course correct shit has never been smaller. Like this is a big deal. And they need to make that, assuming they can make some rounds with this. And it doesn't have to be much. I think a lot of people see the news and they don't realize exactly how close shit is now, right? Like the difference between like the Dems being able to push an agenda and not being able to push an agenda is like 6 people now. So if they make some gains from this perspective, that needs to be something that like happens as soon as the next crop is like sworn in. That needs to be like a day one new people sworn in for the new term, like priority, because if it doesn't happen, you know, then I'm not sure if it ever happens. And then my last thing is there's my pie in the sky kind of outside shot of how this could be course corrected, but I do want to give the full context of this, and that's packing the court. I do want to say that the Supreme Court numbers have not changed since the late 1800s. the last president I think that attempted to pack a court was FDR, and FDR couldn't get it done. One of the most popular presidents in the history of presidents couldn't get it done. But I will also note that the next president will likely have the opportunity to select 2 Supreme Court justices. Make of that what you will.
Okay. Just to clarify, packing the court, that's
adding more seats.
That's just so adding more representative, like more people.
Yeah. So like,
not
so for
replacing
example,
people.
yeah. So they don't. You can't force them to retire, right? And it's a lifelong appointment unless
But you
they
can
can't
add
do it or
thus
they
diluting their like
yeah.
share.
And again,
okay.
the
Man,
last president.
okay, yeah, cool. That's good to know what that.
You
what the
can
fuck
you
that
can
phrase
do
means.
it. You can do it. Most people fail. Again, like every president that I looked up that tried to do it,
Try and
failed.
pressure them to. Why don't they want to leave? Because wasn't this a big issue with Ruth Bader Ginsburg?
Yes.
Why don't they want to leave? Like, what's the is there commonly held like, oh, it's like a money thing, or it's like a power thing, or it's like an ego thing, or it's just a person ego thing, or is there some incentive there that's makes them not want to?
I think for RBG, I think it was an ego thing. I think for people like Clarence Thomas, it's access, right? Like he's milking the hell out of this shit. Like he's using his position to drive his personal political beliefs as well as his line in his pockets. Like he should probably be disbarred on ethics charges at this point. But like, so I do think for a lot of them, it is like the power and the access, but some of them it's the ego. They're not supposed to be political actors, but they have political thoughts and they want to drive it. They have ideology, right? That they want to push. So, we'll see.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
And to answer a direct question, pre-clearance is not in effect. And if you look at their dissents, the Supreme Court actually didn't say that pre-clearance was unconstitutional. What they said was you can't make race a part of your pre-clearance check. So what they basically challenged Congress to do was modernize pre-clearance with different criteria, which is very possible. So the prime example of how it's possible is in the state of Georgia, which I just as an example. For decades, you couldn't do race-based affirmative action stuff for colleges in Georgia. Like that hasn't been a thing for decades. Like in our lifetime, you couldn't do that. So what they would do to get, some programs in place for minority, students is that they would say, we got a scholarship program specifically for people that graduated Clayton County, Georgia high schools, which is 60% Black. You know what I mean? They get around it like that, right?
De facto,
so basically what the Supreme Court said was do your thing. Don't make it about race. Wink, wink, hint, hint. Pre-clearance isn't unconstitutional. So they did leave the door open specifically for that. From their perspective, I know it's bullshit, but from their perspective, when they said we actually saved the voters' rights by like doing just this one thing, I see what they mean. It's bullshit, but they did leave the door open.
Was that a hand raise, Josh?
No, I was just shooting something out my face.
True. All right. Well, if you want to take it away to, I don't know. Yeah, we can end this stream and then we'll get into these two little engagement things. Actually, depending on how much do y'all feel like y'all know, because the comment section might be a helpful sort of like research assist on these two topics of Keegan Michael Key and Akash Singh.
I don't know shit about Keegan Michael Key. I know a little bit about Akash, but even then,
okay,
I don't
cool.
watch.
All right, well, yeah, we'll just keep it live then. But it's your show, Josh. So we
shit, it is.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus,
sure is.
I had no idea. All right,
that's all right. Well, it's on the topic list. Every time.
Yep. All right. Jesus. All right. Okay. All right. Welcome everybody to Waving the Red Flag, the #1 Democratic Republican gerrymandering podcast in the entire states of the universe. It's your boy Josh. It's Alvin. It's Eddie. Here to bring you the good gospel. Some of it might not be so great. Some of it probably also isn't that great. But hey, we're still here. We're still thriving. And we're still standing strong.
We got bad news and we got worse news.
Hey, but we still laugh about it.
Yeah, and that's what you come to us for.
Yeah, we're not gonna bullshit you. All right, so I guess we're talking about Keegan Michael Key and apparent
Yeah.
or AKA Banana.
AKA Banana. Banana and
No,
Locke.
no. Locke, AKA Locke.
AKA Locke,
Wow.
yes. Oh, yeah. So Locke is the one who is allegedly in an abusive relationship. Because I think I just saw Forum made a video about this as well. So this started off similar to the Bill Cosby shit, which is that a comedian did a stand-up bit that had in it some thinly veiled and or direct accusations. What is this woman's name? Akila. Let me see. Let's see if I can find the original shit of. Oh yeah, here we go. Oop, no.
Wow, this is so crazy. Oh, were there 2 links?
So this one is Akila, who she basically said, "Hey, I worked for it." Shit, sorry, I got your face all fucking covered up, Alvin. Damn, hold on.
Bothers me now.
Okay. But yeah, she basically said in this stand-up special, like, I was working with Key and Peele on this allegedly on this like show, and and Key's wife comes in as like a co-producer or whatever, and very quickly starts displaying these kind of like controlling. She's really not even technically on the creative team, but she's inserting herself type shit. And she's kind of like belittling what Keegan Michael Key can do. And Chelsea Peretti allegedly calls this woman and says, "Hey, I just want to warn you because I wish somebody had warned me about Key's wife," and says this is going to be a problem. She destroys a lot of stuff. And Chelsea Peretti allegedly says about Keegan Michael Key, "I don't know how much money this woman has destroyed and ruined for this black man." That's what Chelsea Peretti said. And so the idea is that Jordan Peele has become what we all know Jordan Peele to be. And Keegan Michael Key has kind of fallen by the wayside and has had a career that is, still good, but like, less, in part because he has this controlling, abusive partner, is what is alleged and what people are speculating on. And they've gone back through podcast appearances. I listened to them on David Spade's podcast, and the issue seems to be like, oh, she overtalks him. She comes on a whole bunch of interviews where it's like, why are you even on this interview? Like, this is Keegan Michael Key. Like, we want to see Key from Key and Peele. Why are you as his partner here talking most of the time during this interview is the thing that people are saying. I think there's a little bit of nuance to some of those accusations, but that's my understanding of what's going on at the moment.
Mm-hmm. I think that does a pretty good job of summing up what's these allegations against Key's or Locke's wife. I just had no idea like any of this was going on beforehand, and it kind of makes it makes more sense, I guess, when you do look at the optics of Key versus Peele's success or things that they've gone on to do. One got somebody like potentially sabotaging their career due to ego, from what it sounds like from Akila's video and her recount of dealing with, that lady. It sounds like she's just like extremely ego driven and inserting herself in places that she don't belong. And like even in just an overall Karen, it sounds like Keegan's wife is a straight up just Karen all the way around. Like she wakes up full on Karen mode. And for one, I also gotta wonder, why and how are you putting up with that? If
same
these
reason
allegations are true.
I mean, yeah, same reason everybody who's in an abusive situation does. It's like afraid to leave. You love this person. You think they care for you. It becomes hard to not. You can't see it. You know what I'm saying? You're like, oh, these are just normal relationship things. Maybe she don't hit him or nothing. So he's like, oh, I'm not. Honestly, I think the average man is not going to, if he's in a situation where his partner is financially or logistically controlling and or arguably abusive, I think the average man is not even going to even register as anything that he needs to solve by escaping.
Mm.
That's not even going to be a thing that he,
Like, what is their business relationship like? Is she like his manager? Because I think that might make it more. That might explain it a little bit more too, right? Like if she's supposed to be the person, if she could be overbearing, she could be doing it badly. But if she's like quote unquote supposed to be the one,
but that's
on
kind of her job as well.
Yeah, like do they have like a business relationship?
I think so. Like it seems a little bit unclear to me.
Yeah,
it definitely is quasi. So there's one of the things that this is now me getting into the defense side of things is a lot of people were complaining, why is she on podcasts with Key? Why are they both even here? Because L Key, nobody gives a fuck about L Key. But one of the points that they made was, at least on the David Spade one, which has been referenced a few times, they wrote a book together about improv comedy. Like they wrote it together. So it's by Keegan and L Key. And so they came on as the authors to talk about it. That said, during the interview, she's way more talkative than him. But not super interrupty either. So I don't know what the dynamic is. But
I did a quick research. Basically, it's saying that while she is not described as his talent manager, she serves as his producing partner and creative collaborator. So she just kind of acts as a creative partner, producer, and close collaborator on his business ventures. But it's not to say that she's actually like a manager of sorts.
Yeah, that sounds about like what I had in mind. And I do remember people saying that alleged, or, it's been speculated that one of the reasons that it ended was because that Key and Peele ended was because Elle started to insert herself more into the operation, and it was causing creative problems. So I think the sense that there's this feeling of, to whatever extent they quasi have a business relationship, I think the idea is that your partner can coercively place themselves in a business relationship relative to you, and that's actually that's not a that doesn't preclude abuse. That's an extension of it. That's like, cool, I'm your boyfriend, I'm gonna be your manager now too. And it's like, that's not, therefore now I have the right to do these things. It's, would she get to be his producing partner if they weren't married is kind of, I think, the question there. Is she squeezing herself in because she's got, a romantic connection with the person?
Okay.
Absolutely.
Another question, just again, and this is me just trying to wrap my head around the situation. Because I watched a bit, when that first broke, I watched a bit of that stand up, and it was just being honest, it was difficult for me to follow. So
there were a few things that were unrelated and felt like they were a bit over the place.
Yeah. So are we saying, so he was with his first wife. Key and Peele ended in 2015. Him and his first wife didn't separate until 2015. I'm not sure when he met Elle. Are we saying that they had more stuff in the chamber in 2015 that they just didn't do because of her? Or are we saying that their post Key and Peele collaboration ended because of this? Because they did like Keanu and all that kind of stuff, and then they just kind of like didn't do anything else. And I think Keanu was 2016, like right after Key and Peele wrapped. Are we saying that she's the reason why they didn't do more stuff? Was she like in the picture before he fully separated with his wife? Like, are we? Just trying, because the timelines are not.
That doesn't add up. Because I'm looking, Cynthia Blaze, he was married to until 2017.
But they separated. They separated in 2015. They did separate in 2015.
Oh, okay. So
November 2015 is when they separated.
Okay.
That's what I'm asking. Like I didn't know if anybody had that context. I know we're all doing our Googles. I don't know if the chat has the
I'm Googling right now. Googling right now. We try and do as much as we can before we get to the cameras turned on, but this shit moves kind of fast.
Oh, okay. Wait a minute. Keegan-Michael Key divorced his first wife, Cynthia, was officially finalized November 2017, excuse me, November 2017. But they separated, like Alvin said, November 2015.
It says
so that still lines
that
up.
they didn't start dating until 2017. Him and Elle, and that they got married in 2018. That's what it says.
So again, so the conversation at this point is not did she end Key and Peele unless they were trying to do some sort of Key and Peele like reunion.
Yeah,
did she fuck up his not fuck up. Well, did she minimize his, to Eddie's point, still very solid acting career with her antics? And did she impact their post Key and Peele working relationship is where I think it should be focused on.
I think maybe that's because you're 100%. The timeline on that 2012 is not even close. It's not even close. Yeah.
Because again, they haven't, and Key did that interview with who was it? Was it Colbert, where he was like, they don't even really talk anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not, and he was like, it's not even any love lost, but he was just like, they just don't even like speak. And he was saying that like that impacts him some. So
yeah.
Something
said
had
that,
to happen.
or Jordan said that.
Keegan said that.
Keegan said that.
I don't know. I don't know if Jordan's ever spoke on it publicly. But I do think that, you know, her role could potentially have just been fucking up their post Key and Peele relationship, because again, they don't collaborate anymore. They don't. And I do think that now, because there was also a point early on, because Key's talked about this in a couple forums. He's a classically trained actor. Like, I don't know if people know that about him, but he's a classically trained actor. So he wanted to expand his toolkit past that sketch comedy kind of stuff, and he wanted to like do like acting stuff. Like he did like some stage stuff immediately after that. He wanted to do other things. I think that now, if they wanted to work together, they could be like a very potent duo with Jordan behind the camera and Keegan in front of it, if that's what they want to do. So the fact they haven't done even that post Keanu is telling, especially given that Keegan stated at one point that he was like, it bothers him that they don't talk the way they used to now that they're in different places. So why is that? And maybe this is that why, regardless of whether or not it impacted Key and Peele, the sketch show in and of itself.
Yeah.
Because I'm seeing, you said Keanu, Toy Story 4, they were in together. Okay. Josh, what were you gonna say?
I agree with Alvin. Or I'm definitely like willing to say, yeah, Key probably had a hand in the discomfort or lack thereof communication between Key and Peele, or between Jordan and Keegan. But I'm looking at like, you know, just another Google search, and of course, like the results came back saying, oh no, they're saying that, you know, these allegations are like outlandish and, you know, untrue. Like the wife had nothing to do with like Keegan and Jordan split, but
so they both Jordan and Keegan have said, hey, this stuff that y'all are talking about is not real.
Excuse me. No, it's sources from the couple, i.e. the couple being Keegan and his wife.
Okay, so Jordan hasn't spoken, but Keegan and Elle have said, no, this isn't part of what happened.
Sources from the couple.
Oh, what does that mean, if not the couple?
People around them.
Oh, okay, got you. Sources near the couple, got it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so, but I think it's still like bullshit, because describing that kind of behavior, and I'm willing to believe this black woman, Akilah, on like everything she pretty much said. Like, it sounds like relatively believable. I mean, it sounds largely believable. But
maybe she's talking about both women.
What you mean?
Maybe he's got a type.
Cynthia as well.
Maybe he's got a type. I don't know.
Okay. No, because this whole story that she's talking about is post Key and Peele split, and it feels like it's post 2017. Like she's talking about the writer's strike and COVID and shit like that. This is like a 2020 story.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
So Cynthia was been gone from the picture by the time that Akilah would have been in their mix.
Yeah. Because like she was definitely saying like
we almost pulled Cynthia's dumbass into the shit. Yeah, maybe she's toxic too.
Hey, shoot, she could also be a little problem. Who knows?
We don't know. She got glasses.
Yeah. I think that's just incredibly unfortunate. I just don't understand like how somebody can like mess up your business opportunities like that, because like old girl was saying that the industry largely doesn't care for his wife. The industry, like they was like, oh, everyone loves Keegan, and people generally seem to like Keegan like genuinely.
He's like, honestly, listening to him talk about improv on, I forgot what that show is, but it's like an actor's studio show. It's in black and white. Listening to him talk, even about Jordan or improv or his approach to writing and acting is like, yeah, people love listening to him talk.
Yeah. Yeah, like well, person overall. So why has your career? And mind you, he's got a good career, relatively speaking, to like all the plethora and thousands of people who are in Hollywood. Like he's maintained a pretty decent career. It could have been more opportunities could have come.
He was just in $1 billion movie. he's in $1 billion franchise.
Yeah.
Which movie was that?
He did the voice for Super Mario movie.
Which voice was he?
I don't know. That's pretty little to me. That like it's cool, but it's relatively little.
I don't think it's little at all. I think the conversation is like, did he reach the heights that he could have reached?
Yeah. Relative to Jordan is maybe what I'm getting. It's like not everybody is getting that role, but like who else is maybe in the same conversation as him? And I would say like a Seth Rogen is probably in that. And you would go like, what happened with Seth versus who was the dude that he used to collab with all the time? Dave Franco's.
Gotcha. Yeah.
James
Franco. Yeah.
James Franco. And I feel like Seth is the Jordan of the pair between them. Like Seth he's in every goddamn thing. And like behind and in front of the camera. Like he's in The Boys, he's in Invincible, he's produced the studio, like,
So that's different because James Franco got derailed because of
we know why. We know the why. Yeah.
The man was finna win an Oscar. But
so we're saying his trajectory isn't exactly comparable to because I think maybe that's
what I'm saying.
And I think maybe sorry, did I interrupt what you were about to get at though, Alvin?
No,
okay, yeah. I think part of the issue that I have is I don't know that Jordan, like Keegan not making it doesn't make that much sense to me. Like I don't think I need some huge conspiracy. Like this seems about like, yeah, cool. He was on this show together. I feel like Jordan's trajectory is the surprising one to me, not Keegan. Like Jordan happened to make one of the greatest movies of the last like 20 years. I think if that didn't happen, they'd be on the same fucking thing. So I'm not looking at like, oh, Keegan should have been way bigger than he is. I'm like, hey, he's, like the people who are around him at the same time who would be comparable, most of them aren't cute, like, comedians who had little sketch show. What's the dude's name? Not Daniel Tosh. He was very millennial, quirky sort of comedy, very deadpan type shit. Little bowl cut, big nose, white dude, yeah. But anyway, just people who are around that time who you might compare to a Keegan. If you look at what they're doing. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Thank you. Dimitri Martin. I feel like nobody's checking for fucking Dimitri Martin. You know what I'm saying? Nobody's checking for Daniel Tosh, really. Like, he's kind of had a little bit of but yeah, this seems
Daniel
about
Tosh
right.
have a cool fan base, but yeah.
Yeah,
he's also selling out arenas. He's selling out arenas right now.
He's a
stand-up. He's a stand-up comic. But yeah, I take your point. Yeah, fair point.
But yes, overall, granted. But I ain't gonna hold you because looking back on Key and Peele, like a lot of that, the main punch came from Jordan's characters.
Keegan was largely the straight man.
I think it depends on the sketch.
Because Aaron, that's Keegan. That's all Keegan. So
my favorite Key and Peele sketch is that one where they were doing the UFC fighters. Like because my Because my issue with Key and Peele sketches is that they always went 15 to 30 seconds too long.
I remember you saying that. Yeah.
They're hilarious. And I'm like, this shit's gonna hit. This shit is hitting. They're gonna cut this off right at the right point. And then they always take it a step too far. That's one of the few things where like it was the perfect amount of absurdity. And I was like, Key is crushing this. But I do think that like if I'm thinking about it now.
Yeah,
I do think I'd say more of my favorite. If I'm going to my top 10, if I'm rounding out my top 10, it's probably more Jordan heavy. To your point, Josh. Now that I'm really thinking about it.
Yeah, I mean, of course, like everyone's gonna like run up the Keegan like highlights. Yes, I'm not saying that Keegan didn't do a good job because the substitute teacher. Yes, one of my favorites.
I think that's probably the most famous one.
Yeah, that's
high on pot news. But that was Jordan. I think. Yeah.
Writing? Oh.
I wish I was high on pot and noose, and then everybody's like, "Oh my god, that's such a good joke." And he gets famous everywhere.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Megan.
Yeah. So I think I mean, hey, if you got it in, you got it in.
See that.
But who knows? Like, who knew like Jordan would have produced like Get Out?
That's what I'm saying. I feel like
Like, he
all
would've
of their
made
difference
that,
in their
yeah.
careers is that the guy from Key and Peele happened to make one of the greatest horror and comedy movies that we've seen in 2 decades. That's some unpredicted, you know what I'm saying? That's not part of the usual thing. Because, and don't be wrong, lots of comic dudes make their little, like Seth Rogen has made little movies. Aziz Ansari has had his little movie. Like everybody's done little movies and stuff. I can't. Who's made something that was like that big? I think you've had a couple of.
classic.
Oh, to be fair, you have had there have been a few who have done the comedy to horror shit, because I think like Hereditary and a couple of other movies like that are literally this: a comedian made a horror movie and blew up off of it. I think that he's on the. There's a rare phenomenon.
Close. Seth Rogen's close because I say Superbad for that generation. Close,
100%.
And
and Seth Rogen is huge.
He's in that and he wrote that. That's also the thing. And like Seth Rogen is in a similar vein as Jordan. I think your Seth Rogen to Jordan Peele comparison is spot on, because Seth Rogen is also like an industry player now. Like he's a writer behind the scenes. He's what they call a script fixer. Like they like when people fuck shit up and they're like, we got 60 days to like fix this because we got to film and we got to get deadlines. Send it to fucking Seth Rogen. Like he's
literally. He's a huge heavy hitter. I think he's goofy, and we kind of forget, like, no, this motherfucker is directing, executive producing, voice acting.
The motherfucker's an industry player.
Yeah.
But to your point, if we're like thinking about this right now, and we got Jordan Peele and Seth Rogen, out of everybody that's tried to do this, like, I think that
they're rare.
To your point.
Yeah. So I don't know that Keegan got left behind in anything. I think Keegan is in the exact same place that every other like millennial 2010s comedian has ended up, which is like, yeah, they're here and there. Like there's a scene in The Boys where they've got all of these like, you know, kind of, not like washed up is the wrong word, but like these guys who like, yeah, they kind of had a bit of a career and they're in it, and there's Seth Rogen. It's a bunch of other, it's a bunch of other folks, and then it's Seth Rogen. The other guys, I don't even remember what their names are. I'm like, yeah, I think you were on a season of SNL. I'm not seeing it.
I'm trying to think, because while you're wanting me more to your side, that maybe comparatively speaking, like, oh, okay, it might just look like he was just left in the dust, when I would never like say that in the forefront. But I still do believe that his wife might have cost him some opportunities.
Very, very likely. I mean, look, Chelsea Peretti, who is Jordan's wife, allegedly said that to Akilah, allegedly. So somebody inside of it is at least saying that that's what happened, that his partner, through abuse, triangulation, control, has stymied his like trajectory. He might have done more. He might have written more shows. He might have been on more projects if he didn't have a partner who was threatened by his light.
And then just think like, oh, the shows that we don't know that he was associated with or like executive producing, might have written on, that didn't come out, especially during that time, during the writer's strike, or hell, maybe even before that his wife might have fucked up, said, oh, I'm not suing the network because y'all don't like my ideas. That might have been a hit, because that was basically Old Girl's gripe, was like, I had this show, it was a banger to them, you know, hell, we don't know, that shit could have came out and flopped like a motherfucker, who knows?
Yeah, we have no idea.
You know, that success is not guaranteed, but hey, who knows? We don't know if it would have been a hit or not. Then that would have just boosted Keegan-Michael Key's status. Oh, he executive produced that. A lot of people 100%. Don't know what it means to be an executive producer. They just have this person's name attached to something successful, and then it's like, you know, you get a lot of clout from that.
Yeah, they usually are putting money into it, and they're not doing like the day-to-day shit that a producer usually is doing, but they're, you know, very top level, checking in, maybe connecting you with like they're doing like big top level, like, here, I'll put you in contact with this studio representative, and then that's it. I'm doing big moves very infrequently and putting money into it, and I'm hoping to get money back on the other end.
Yeah.
So
I mean, hey, hopefully, I don't know, but I've seen, and you know what? I don't want to take it to that level, but I have seen a picture of his wife. I know I said I wasn't going to take it there, but fuck it, I can't help it. I have seen his wife, and I am not impressed.
You're saying she looks abusive?
She looks like a Karen.
She looks like a Karen.
And the Karens are abusive.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I think that's where the name came from, because I feel like, wasn't it? Oh no, that was Kate. I was thinking about John and Kate plus 8. She always seemed a little bit abusive, but she's like the prototypical Karen from back in the day. So yeah,
God bless her. Well, I mean, hey, fuck her.
No Southern hospitality. Allegedly, yeah. And yeah, I think I did find Akila's like breakdown compelling, though it did seem like there was some stuff that was a little bit like, I don't know if I can draw an exact through line to that, because it's like, yeah, you're going like the writer's strike happened, a bunch of rollback of stuff that was cut that maybe didn't even have anything to do with difficulties related to the production. So I'm like, but the story of like, okay, cool, we're halfway through producing this, then all of a sudden Elle is on a Zoom call. Like, who the fuck is this, and why is she giving us ideas like you're the wife of one of the main, executive producers and writers on this thing? Why are you even here telling us like comedy comes into? And I will say she was very like, man, I don't know, like white splainy when they were talking about comedy. Like, you have Keegan Michael Key on this podcast talking about a book on improvisational skit and sketch comedy. Motherfucker is the definition of a subject matter expert on this shit. And she was like, the thing about comedy is, and it's kind of like, look, I know you wrote the book, but baby, don't nobody want to hear what you got to say about it. You know what I mean? It did feel very like, well, first of all, knock, knock, because think about it. There's a door. That's the opening to comedy. It felt, you know what it reminded me of?
You don't know who's on the other side, right?
And that's where comedy comes from. It felt very like that white lady who was like, and here's how you hip hop, and one and two. Hip hop is about, like, it felt like that. Yes. Like, this is a woman who's not a comedian, who's not particularly funny, explaining comedy to an audience who doesn't know her. But whereas it felt like what her role was in the book was that she was a biographer to Keegan. That's what it felt like her role was. But her on the podcast, it felt like she was speaking on as an authority on comedy instead of the biographer of an authority on comedy.
She should just be a critic. Like, that should be her lane, because critics are not comedians, but they feel, I understand what comedy is, so I can tell you something that's funny.
Set up the punchline. Oh, yes, a callback, delicious.
Yes. The threes, the alliteration, the allegory. Delicious.
Symbolism.
Did not laugh once, but it was hilarious.
I remember Donnell Rollins talking about that's how white audiences are. Like, white audiences don't laugh. They just go, I see what you did there. It's pretty good. I'll take one ticket.
Quite.
Oh, the setup on that was brilliant. Thank you.
This is
like they'll just say thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Keegan, like most comedians who would have been his what you would have compared him to, didn't do. Like, what are any of the people from Chappelle doing now? They're doing all right, but like, Donnell Rollins is probably the most famous person on that isn't Chappelle.
Bill Burr, come on now.
Bill Burr was in like 2 sketches, but fair point.
Bill Burr was in one.
He was in multiple. Okay, well then I roll that entire point back, and I'm wrong. Yeah, I stricken that one from the record. You right? Because Bill Burr is huge. Okay. I don't know if Patrice would have made it. I'm gonna be honest.
I mean, Patrice died, so I mean, like, his legacy is immortalized. So he's
But I'm like, if I had to guess where he would have gone, I don't think Patrice would have been huge at all.
I mean, I'm not going, because like Patrice is.
I see.
Because I don't know if I really care for like Patrice's comedy style. I would have to guess if he were still alive, he might be somewhere around like an Ari Spears, maybe above.
Yeah,
like he would have fucked
think
himself
that's
over more.
Right.
Like, he would have shot himself in the foot like a couple times. That would have gotten him in some trouble.
Yeah.
Therefore,
I agree.
There you go. That's my point. Yeah, because I am a fan. I'm a huge fan. He's probably in my top 10 comics, and I don't think he would have Yeah, Aries Spears is about right. That's where he would have landed. Yeah, so. But fair point. Okay, speaking of comedians who are maybe washed up and maybe aren't quite sort of, getting where they could have, do we want to talk Akash Singh officially being said to have been cucked out of existence from the Flagrant 2 podcast?
Yes, phenomenal transition. Oh, I didn't know. I mean, honestly, bro, I've completely forgot about that whole thing because like the last time we talked about it was like last year.
Mm.
And I didn't know it was still like a thing. Like, he was still facing like scrutiny other than like their backtracking on like their Trump take, which at face value, I believe a person has the right to genuinely change their mind about something. But it's like, nigga, you platform Trump.
I don't think they changed their mind. I think they knew what they would like. I think what happened is something like, yeah, we knew he was a pedophile. We just didn't know that he was going to send police into the streets. And it's like, cool, you changed your mind off of something, but the thing that you still haven't changed your mind on is the thing that I had an issue with to begin with. So you're still wrong, even though you've changed your mind on one element.
Yes. They don't like they don't like the method. They like, and that's the thing. As an example, that right-leaning set still hates immigrants. To your point, they just didn't want police in the streets kidnapping people and interfering with their lives. So I won't give them that grace, but but I think that's beside the point. I think that's ancillary to everything that we're going to talk about from that perspective.
So I hadn't checked on them or nothing like that, but I heard people. I saw little thumbnails here and there of like, why hasn't Akash been on Flagrant 2? Blah 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 blah, and he hasn't been on in a while, and they're not acknowledging it. And then I saw this clip.
Schultz announced that Akash Singh has officially decided to step away from the Flagrant podcast after nearly 9 years on the show in order to continue going all in on stand-up.
We got to address the elephant in the room, no pun intended. As I'm sure you guys are aware, our boy Akash, he really went through it earlier this year, showed amazing resilience, selling out Radio City recently, setting records in Toronto, just crushing stand-up around the globe, literally just like living the dreams that he would tell me about at 2 a.m. when we're eating egg sandwiches at Veselka. So it's been amazing to see, but the experience has put things in perspective for him. And he has made the decision to focus all of his energy on stand-up. He is going to be stepping away from the pod. It is bittersweet. We wish that he did not want to do that. But at the same time, it's very hard not to root for your friend, literally living his dreams. And if he feels he's got to give everything to that, then that's exactly what he's got to do. And we're going to rock with him. We hope you guys continue to rock with him. Go check out the show. We saw the show Radio City. It's phenomenal. You guys should absolutely go check it out. AkashSingh.com for tickets. So we just wanted to clear the air. Akash hasn't been on the pod for a while. We thought it was time that we, talk to you guys about it.
And the comment section is saying, it's all basically just disrespect to him. The reason that he really left is because of him, this shit with him and his wife that we talked about. And you know what? And a lot of these are that he existed largely as a hype man for the podcast.
Wait, what? Go back to some of the comments.
So it said, hold on.
I think the one that you was looking for was at the very okay. You can't even watch the pod from the shit.
Which they're saying he wasn't that involved. And then, poor Andrew lost his laugh track. Who's going to laugh too loudly at bad jokes now? So that's
okay. So I first heard about this. I didn't even know this was a thing until actually, literally, might have been yesterday. I just randomly ran across a video of Abel Preach talking about Akash's departure from the thing. It's about like a 15-minute video. I tried to get through most of it, couldn't do it. But basically, they was saying that the whole reason why it was, of course, like the whole thing, the backlash from the Trump stuff, all the criticism and the hate and the dragging for the comments that his wife has made that contradicted, the things that he stated about their relationship, as far as like, the virginity thing, and then like the wife fantasizing about her friend's husband. And then his comments about the Oval Office, which did happen in January of 2026. That was amid the whole Trump thing, like the Trump kind of backwalking thing, and it was like, oh, there's probably more PDFs in the Oval Office, which I mean isn't an incorrect, you know. I mean, there's some credence to that statement alone, but again, but just the person that it came from, you know, they got that they got on his ass even more. So
wait, sorry, who said it, and what was the
Akash said that this was like during around that time when they were doing their whole Trump backwalking of supporting, and he was like, oh yeah, there's probably like PDFs. Well, there's probably more PDFs in the Oval Office, and then people dogpiled on him about that
because like y'all helped one of them get in. Is that
basically like I was like, who the fuck are you? Like, yeah, pretty much, yeah. So they just chose that as another opportunity to get on him, and then plus like the quote unquote haters chose that as an opportunity to also like, you know, drag him through the internet as well. So I guess overall it just got to be too much for him, and I mean, yeah, shit, let the show. But
yeah, and I do think that like Reformed here is saying that the people are trying to diss him for being like a hype man. I think that that's quite warranted, because I think the cuck shit, as I said during the episode, I feel like that's a weird thing for us to pick as Akasha's like biggest weak point. It feels like it's still very manosphere, red pill, sort of like coded sort of shit. Like, like of all the things, because I feel like he allowed a whole bunch of weird ass, racist, unfunny, mean spirited treatment towards him on the podcast for a long ass time. I say that as somebody who used to listen and watch it. Platformed a whole bunch of bullshit, signed on for helping Trump win an election, and did a whole bunch of yes, my lord type shit when it came to Schultz, where it's like those I think are much bigger issues than the he got cucked out of existence thing. I know I made that joke as well, but I feel like it's weird to pick that one, and I feel like that sends the wrong message. Of where the issues lie. But I guess maybe to the point, it's like, well, wait, why did he really leave? Was it his conscience being like, I don't think that this is a positive force, or is it just like, these red pill fans treat me badly, you know?
Yeah, it was okay. So I do want to address this statement. I do not.
I thought that was really good.
Yeah, my thing is, if I help create a pod, would not go on it to announce. Indeed, would not go on it to announce my own leaving. I don't know about going on it to announce my own leaving, but maybe like addressing it. However, I can also see why he wouldn't like make a video. But that was actually one of the things that Ava and Preach said in their video about the situation. Was like, I think it was Preach. It was like, if it was me, why would I leave that to you to do? I would make my own video. Like I would, you know, address like why I'm no longer here. So that's weird to me. So, but they was like, I think he got. But Preach was like, I think maybe he might got kicked off versus leaving of his own volition, which I don't believe at all. That don't make sense.
Yeah, that seems unlikely. I don't know. Is there a reason why they thought that would be the case? Because I feel like Akash is very useful to Schultz, as far as I can tell, from an outside perspective.
Yeah, I mean, like I just completely disagree with that take from Preach by getting kicked off, because like, say what you want about Andrew, but he's not. He doesn't strike me as that sort of person to like just based off of what's been going on in the zeitgeist against you. That's not a reason to get kicked from the podcast. In and of itself.
Yeah.
Like
yeah,
so you're fired. Like, you know, and even like in Andrew's messaging, it's still very much so supportive. Like, hey, make sure you go check him out. It's, you know, it is like, hey, here's where you can find this person. Go check him out. Go support him. So I don't believe he was fired at all or kicked off the thing at all. But if I were Akash, I mean, hell, no one. If something would have happened with me and waving the red flag, I'm probably not going to like fucking like make a video. I would address it on my own time.
I mean, look, I can't speak to you, but if it was me, same thing. If I was like, oh, cool, I'm not doing it. I feel like if it's on not bad terms, you would make time to appear. Like because you can make. I get it. You go, okay, I'm trying to go all in on comedy. This is going to be too hard for me to do both of these. I want to focus. You can schedule out an hour in your schedule, no matter how busy you are, to go, cool, I'm going to go on to my last appearance on the podcast that I've been on for 4, 5, 6 years. That's been a huge part of my trajectory, that I'm close. These are my homeboys. Hey, everybody, this is a celebration. I'm graduating from Flagrant to be a full-time stand-up comedian. I can't wait to come back one day. Cool.
Yep.
There's no reason
it's good terms.
If
it's
good terms.
Great point.
Which is the only reason that this would happen this way, is because, well, not only, but it colors it as this was something negative. And it might have just been, hey, Schultz, this shit is fucking with my relationship. I hate these fucking fans. They are so toxic to me. It's making me want to fucking kill myself. I don't want to even bother coming on to say that I'm leaving, because the comment section of even that video is going to be horrifying. I can't do it anymore. I'm done. I love you. Cool, but I'm out.
And think about this, like, who was that? Who was this video for? The same fans that hate you on this podcast? Why the fuck would you make a video for them?
Right. So I think that's, so that's, to me, that's bad terms. It's more than just I'm focusing on comedy.
I think but I don't think it's like bad terms in terms of like the hosts of the show. I think it's bad terms in the fan base of that show. And those are two different things.
Oh,
and again, which could paint, why the fuck do I don't owe you niggas nothing. Y'all don't even like me. Y'all been dragging my ass. Y'all been fucking with my mental health. My relationship with my wife, whatever. I got to defend my wife. And mind you, I'm kind of on the fan side, because Lord, please don't ever let no shit like that find me in life. I would never want my wife to be talking about me like that. But hey, what work for you?
I'm more on his side on that one, but
God bless you. God bless you. And I know damn well if you're
hey, look, we talked about all this. But we already covered all this.
He about to bring it back up. But
if it was me,
but anyway,
shit.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, if it was you, that's what I'm saying. If it was you,
yeah,
like,
okay, I feel you.
Yeah, no, I know you wouldn't. Hell no, you would cut a bitch off for less, goddamn, far less. But yeah, so yeah, and that was what I really meant. Like, when I said, like, if it was me in his position, I wouldn't make a video, because if my fan base didn't fuck with me, I didn't feel no love from them. I don't owe you niggas shit. Y'all, my niggas, like the people that I do the thing with, I can still talk to them in real life. Like, we know what's up. Like, y'all can say the goodbye for me, or just don't address it at all. I don't give a fuck. I have my own like lane, and we're still good. That's cool. But these people, I don't like. Maybe I'll address it when I finally wrap my mind around all this shit. So I'll give him all the grace in the world on that end. Just in terms of like, whoa, I didn't even say anything. Like, nigga, for what? Just so I can get more comments about it.
Yeah, because the whole comment section is just going to be, oh, you're a cuck, you're a like. It's going to be negative shit. Yeah, I think that if there's, I think maybe the reason that this sparked something for me is that I hoped it was on bad terms. I think that's the subtext of part of my feeling, is that I was hoping that maybe this departure was the result of Akash having a come to Jesus moment. Well, not Jesus, but come to and started to think, maybe this environment, maybe what's happening here isn't good, isn't respectable. Maybe it's not honorable. I'm talking all this pro South Asian, talk, but then I'm kind of going on a podcast that lightly leans white supremacist. What am I really doing with my career? Like, yes, I have this person in this platform to thank for, for a huge fan base, and I think I was hopeful that it was that, but I think that you're right, Josh, that it may very well not be that at all.
Yeah. I mean, I think they still cool enough, but there was also one other thing that the Avon Preach video did also address, like, in terms of, maybe there is some, like, behind the scenes rumblings with the guests, like, i.e. like Andrew versus Akash. And Andrew was talking about the situation on Brilliant Idiots with Charlamagne. And Charlamagne was like, keep your wife off the internet. And then, of course, like, Andrew like bust out laughing, like, hell yeah, like fully agreed and did it. And like they had like a whole thing about it, referencing Akash, the Akash situation.
Yeah, that's disrespectful.
So I mean, Yeah, especially, I mean, if you're riding for your queen, right or wrong.
Yeah. And I think it depends on how, because I assumed that this would be, shit can be flash in the pan. It's like, cool, some embarrassing shit happened. You keep it pushing, da da da, whatever. But it just seems like motherfuckers don't let this shit go. Like, it's, months, like, people still talk about the Simone Biles shit now. Like, where it's like, man, come on, y'all are miserable. Or at least, that's what the vibe is. So I'm like, it just seems, I don't know. I would have expected that maybe it could have progressed to a thing that it wasn't disrespectful for them to joke on Brilliant Idiots in that way, but it seems like I get the sense that maybe this has continued to be a source of true emotional stress for Akash, is my guess.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I think that's not even debatable.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Which
if
makes
he
sense.
was having a great time.
That shit ain't no joke.
No, and it's tough. I mean, I see some comments in here, but some of y'all make light of how difficult being in a spotlight can be. Like, yeah, it's cool if you don't like somebody, whatever. But to be that person and not be an evil person, that shit can be fucking tough. Like, that's not normal for somebody to go through.
Mm-mm.
And I'm not
That's
like trying to
huge
wave
stress.
the Akash flag, like, oh, yo, nigga, you know, whatever. Like, oh, you like whatever, but like just on a human to human level, like that's not easy to go through. Like that's pretty fucking tough.
No. I feel like we've seen it. Like the Meg shit to me is that same thing of like, she's not in a position to be like, to just have gotten cheated on and move on with life. Now it's some big conversation about her worth and her value and what this means about the previous thing that she maybe was in and what she deserves and, what women broadly deserve and who deserves to be cheated on, who doesn't deserve to be cheated on. And it's like, fucking Christ, like this was already harrowing. Now I can't get on my little Instagram and just talk to my friends. There's just an avalanche of people saying, you deserve less. You don't deserve enough. You're an idiot,
Mm-hmm.
The human mind is not meant to withstand that shit. So,
yeah. Yeah, this level some
See,
shit.
is this meant to be funny? Because this comment is crazy.
His wife treats him, yo.
See, this is the shit I'm talking about.
Hey, shout out to you. Shout out to you because you're not wrong.
Is that even? Yeah.
No,
that's crazy. You talk about the comment section. You need to be worried about his wife section.
Right. Shoot, that pillow talk section, my nigga. That's what you really got to worry about.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, wait, that's tough. That's fucking tough, man. But hey, he's staying by his queen. You gotta respect that. Oh, you gotta respect that because apparently there was, one of the big things even that we discussed like last year was on like, oh, she's in it for the money. She's a gold digger. And he was repeatedly be like, oh no, like she was with me when I was a struggling comic. No one knew who I was. I was making $25 a night. This shit was not promised. She stayed by me. Like, so like her loyalty to me is unquestionable, which I pray is true, which I hope is true. I'm inclined to believe you because, I don't give a fuck. That's your relationship. I don't give a fuck. So I hope it's true for you. But I still, oh Lord have mercy, I would never let my goddamn girl get on a fucking podcast talking about how she want a goddamn lick on Eddie or Alvin. She been fantasizing about their penis and shit. I swear to God, boy, everybody down. The mics is coming down.
It's just gonna be a Looney Tunes cloud, gray cloud of smoke. Mics flying everywhere. Oh, the drywall is getting pulled off. Everything's coming down.
Bro,
man, fuck this whole studio.
Gonna be consequences and repercussions. But with that being said, man, if you are seeing your government rolling back voting rights, all the way back to the status of the 80s, then you are definitely seeing a red flag. And if you are potentially, online making disparaging comments about your partner who might be a little bit more successful than you, then, it might be you that's waving a red flag. Ladies and gentlemen, theys, thems, dogs, cats, chickens, ducks, and squirrels. Oh, and we also cannot forget them lovely deer rats. Yes. It has been waving the red flag. No Hunter virus. It's been your boy Josh. It's been Eddie, and it has been Alvin. coming back to you again for another lovely week of recording this good old show. Thank y'all so much for tuning in, especially for everybody that's in the live. You know what I'm saying? We got a couple of y'all up in this motherfucker. What? The brand is brolic. Yeah, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe when you actually do see this, in the algorithms. And also, please share the video, join the Discord, become a part of the community if you are already not a part of said community. There are plenty of like-minded, sane individuals, especially men. There are sane men in the chat. So ladies, if you know what I'm saying, you want to be around some sane men, so some different energy, there's sane niggas in the Discord. So I am very proud to say that. That's something that we don't fuck around with. Yeah, so and also other men too. Join the shit, you know what I'm saying? Chop it up with us. Yeah, it's been Waving the Red Flag. It's been us, and thank y'all so much for your time and tuning in. Hope y'all have been entertained.